Welcome to 52 Pickup, a podcast about the greatest comic you've never heard of. I'm professional comic book expert Alex Jaffe, and joining me is the equally bombastic Gita Jackson.
Hi, I'm Gita.
Hey, Gita.
Hey, what's up? I'm Gita.
Howdy,
Hi.
y'all. We don't talk about how we do these in advance. We just kind of go for it.
We just do it. That's what I like about it. Have you seen my Labubu?
I have been so out of the loop about what Labubu even is. It's the new Beanie Baby, right?
Yeah, it's Beanie Baby if there was a blind box situation.
Yeah.
The thing with me and blind boxes, okay, here's how you do blind boxes. If you look at the things on the back of the blind box and you say, oh my God, I really don't want that one.
Yeah.
Don't buy that blind box. Because you could get that one.
You could
and then
get
what
the
the
bad
fuck
one,
are you
yeah.
going to do? Yeah. If any of the options in the blind box will disappoint you, don't get it. Because then you're just going to be sucked into a money hole.
Shout out to my friend Brian, who is always the best guy in the world at taking the blind bags and feeling the shape of the thing and being able to determine just by feel which one it was. He got it
That's like
100% of the time.
That's like a mutant power.
Yeah.
There was a really old McSweeney's article, like when I was in high school, that was rejection letters from Xavier Schools for Gifted Children.
Yeah.
It was, I can imagine that. There was my one favorite one was, Dear Rachel, I'm sorry to reject you from Xavier School for Gifted Children, but we just don't think that your power of knowing where Orlando Bloom is at any point in time is very useful to the team makeup here at the X-Men Academy.
There's a guy who knows that in real life with Elon Musk. He got in trouble for it, like a lot.
That's anti-mutant discrimination.
It's a real mutant power. Oh, baby. What an issue this is. Number 48 of 52. We're just barreling towards the end of this series. And, oh boy, it's really popping off here. Yeah.
This one's a banger.
We're in the phase where all of these storylines are coming to a head. And this is the one we keep consistently saying is our favorite. And J.G. Jones really brought it for what I'm going to say is the best cover in the series.
It's really good. It's really good also because it's so unexpected compared to the other covers.
Yes.
It barely looks like an illustration one, which is incredibly impressive, right? I want to say it's the image on the cover is spray painted a piece of graffiti on a decrepit wall, and it's Renee Montoya as the question with a caption underneath it, answer the question.
I would get this on my wall for real.
Yes, the raw talent that J.G. Jones has, it looks like a photograph. I'm like not joking. It's so beautiful.
Like that's his tag in the corner over there.
Oh my God, it's so fucking good. And then there's the Circle A. I'm sure Anarchy is somewhere hanging around. But also, I just love just the texture of this wall.
Yeah.
Can I freak out about this a little bit?
No, please. It looks real.
It looks like a real wall. It's like paint peeling off of it, and you can see like the grains of the drywall. It's amazing. It's understated.
Right.
But this must have taken a really long time to render just the light, the way that the light falls onto it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the wall behind my computer right now and imagining how good that entire setup would look just right over there.
Oh my God, yeah. That would be fucking sick.
Oh, just some great talent for this. Derek Robertson really brought it for this issue looks nothing like any other issue in 52.
It's got like a gritty look. Like it brings that Gotham street level nobody has powers thing.
Derek is full on doing his The Boys art for this.
Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah. It looks really good.
Yeah. This is just the height of his shit. He did a really good Hellblazer series with Tom Taylor a couple years ago called Rise and Fall. That's the one where he fucks the devil and an angel keeps lifting up billionaires into the sky and dropping them.
Hell yeah.
It's a really good book.
I gotta read that shit.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Can I tell you something that's paid for itself time over again and
Please.
again? Both my Marvel and DC subscriptions and also my Shonen Jump subscription.
I use DC Universe Infinite every day.
Like every day of my life. Literally, I always have about 15 minutes to read a comic book.
Mm-hmm.
And I read a lot of comic books right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm in the middle of reading William Messner Loeb's Run on the Flash, which is really underrated. It really sets the ground for a lot of the stuff that Mark Waid was doing afterwards that he gets all the credit for. which, you know, he did a lot, but I think Loeb's doesn't get enough credit.
Hell yeah. We'll talk more about our comics later.
Yeah.
But let's get back to talking
talent. We have a whole segment for that now, please.
Yeah, we do.
We've talked talent. We've talked the cover. This is just basically one of those issues where we're just focused on one plot line the entire time. And that is, we pick up where we left off with Renee and Nightwing inside Kate Kane's rec department, with the cult of crime having absconded with her, realizing, wait a minute, twice named daughter of Kane could literally mean somebody named Kane. And now they're just scouring Gotham City looking for her.
This is the world's dumbest detective. Anyway, this
you can really tell Batman's been missing for a year.
It's like Nightwing wasn't built for this. Dick Grayson, the himbo of genes are too strong.
If Tim Drake was on this, we would be done by now.
It would have been done in like maybe a week. Like it wouldn't take very long at all. But no, he's got to go on the vision quest with Bruce. Anyway, I love this montage. I really do.
Oh, it
takes more than one day of the week also for week 48, which I really like.
Yeah.
I love the way it's colored in this first page also. Each different vignette gets its own really strong color palette. It's just sick.
To continue with the Watchmen parallels, it reminds me a lot of like the sequence in Watchmen where Rorschach and Night Owl are teaming up to like scour the underworld of the city desperately for any possible lead for this mass killer.
Yeah, it does look a lot like that. It's taking its cues from that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go into, I love these illustrations here, even though the sequence of events is kind of not very interesting. But I love like all the different like weird animal people that they're fighting. It's so fun. They end up fighting an octopus man.
Yeah, that panel's so good. And I love that Renee's using her like Jack Kirby-ass gun that she got in issue goddamn 4 this entire time.
I do love that. Well, she doesn't have a service weapon anymore. So she's got
she's got that Dan Turpin hat on.
Yeah,
it's really good.
It's great. She's one costume-wise, there's really only one part that's missing in her transformation. And we'll get there. It's really great. Meanwhile,
she's got a little something on her face she needs to get off.
Why do you have that face on your face? I watched a 4-hour video about all the details in Symbolism Hereditary, and then a 7-hour video of all the details in Symbolism in Midsommar. So that's where my head is at a little bit. They're very dense films. I watched Eddington, another Ari Aster. I'm planning on writing about Ari Aster's work, which I find interesting and have some issues with. So I felt like it was worth my time to do this.
You're planning to diss Aster?
Fuck you.
That's for free, Gita.
So is this, I had to ask you, has Whisper Adair always had a creepy little snake tongue?
Yeah, she's the snake lady.
Oh, right. I forgot about that. I forget a lot of things about the Crime Bible.
There's a lot of shit going on here. She used to be involved in like the whole League of Assassins thing with Ra's al Ghul.
Oh, yeah. I see. So she has Kate and is like homoerotically stroking her while setting her up on a giant rock slab to be sacrificed. And so far, by day 6 of week 48, Renee and Nightwing have come no closer to finding Kate Kane, but they have found these mysterious devices that the Crime Bible people, the cult, the weird cult, have left over Gotham.
And I feel like when you read the back matter, Greg Rucka kind of tacitly admits, like, I really didn't know how to raise the stakes here beyond just like a street level kidnapping story. And this whole like making Gotham City a hell pit came from somewhere else. And he doesn't necessarily say who it is, but I think it's pretty easy to put the pins together and like see that this is very clearly building in the same direction as Final Crisis, which Grant Morrison was also building at the time.
I mean, another clue that Grant Morrison has had some influence on this issue. At one point, Nightwing calls somebody mate.
Yeah.
That's not something an American would say.
Yeah. That's some real Morrison shit there.
You know, it does feel like Morrison's first swing at trying to write Nightwing dialogue. Yeah. And you can see, you know, eventually the place they get with writing Nightwing ends up being really heartfelt and really genuine. And this first swing is just sort of like, how do I write a really confident hot guy? Yeah. Instead of the losers I usually write. How do I write a guy that's it doesn't break a sweat when he's flipping around the place?
Right. The guy that all of my loser incel protagonists would kill to be.
Exactly.
The character that the people from The Filth fantasize about.
Oh my God, man. Yeah. Do you want to know a really mean thing I've done?
Always.
It's when they ask me what comics to read, sometimes I do recommend The Filth.
Oh, no.
Like, to people who are sickos and they don't read comics. Yeah. I'm like, read The Filth and tell me when you get to the one that has black semen. And they're like, okay. And you can see the before and after of having read that story.
I'm much nicer than you. I tell people to read Bone.
Yeah, you are a lot nicer than me.
I think everybody should read Bone.
Bone is just good, right? No, The Filth, if you are like a sicko, if you like exploitation movies, that kind of thing, The Filth is like right up your alley. If you're a fucking weird pervert, definitely do read The Filth. It is really disgusting. But it goes fully into that, right? It is fully committed to being the most disgusting thing you'll ever read.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to this comic, which is a lot less...
Renee kicking the shit out of a little rat man.
Yeah, but there's a scene with the crime Bible people. What is the name of their cult again? I really have absorbed so much information here.
It's sometimes called the Religion of Crime or the Cult of Crime. They've tried to pass it off as the Dark Faith sometimes, as being a little less cringe, but it's mainly the Religion of Crime.
Okay. The Dark Faith is actually equally, if not more, cringe than the other monikers.
I mean, Gita, can we come up with a better name for this all these years later?
No. They're nerds. They're fucking dorks in robes. I do kind of love, there is a brief scene before we get back to Renee and Nightwing actually figuring out what the plot is with the members of the Religion of Crime. And the only really interesting thing here, it establishes the stake of we're going to turn Gotham into a hellhole and we're going to have huge fire pits everywhere, blasting fire into the infrastructure of Gotham and making the city on fire. One thing I do really like about this scene, this guy's ceremonial garb, I wish that they had actually thought about the iconography of the cult. I think that would have probably helped them give it more shape rather than just kind of being this blob that it is, right? What I wish I knew the meaning of why the color purple, why this red and zigzag, right? Yeah. Because it looks cool. And that's really a lot of cult ritual is just about ideology and symbolism. And if they invested just a smidge more into that, it would probably feel more authentic. But I'm glad that he does have a weird road, at least.
Yeah. I mean, cults have always come... This is something that we talked about in one of our very first episodes. Cults have always been a major part of detective-style stories because their whole deal is shrouding themselves in mystery. Yeah. So it's just a natural opponent for a two-fisted, hard-boiled, hard-drinking detective to have.
Yeah, cults are, the goal of a cult often is to enact a conspiracy and see it through to fruition. And then in opposition to that in this kind of story is a detective whose job is to uncover conspiracy and prevent it from happening. So it is like a natural antagonist. You can see how this story was built up in the beginning. Of course, Renee would be going after the cult because she becomes this incredible, like, conspiracy-driven a detective. But the problem is the cult just isn't that interesting. And like, that's the thing that makes the story feel unbalanced. We're always happy to see Renee win, but I don't feel a sense of satisfaction that the cult's plans were foiled because they don't really have any.
It is fun to see a bunch of animal guys here.
I know. I love these animal guys, though. I love the Squid Man. They try to interrogate a Squid Man. Oh my God, the dodo guy is great. Yeah. I love the fire-breathing bat guy. I love that. The dodo guy is just a fucking stroke of brilliance, though.
I love it.
Where are they even getting dodo DNA? Like, what's happening?
I think it's supposed to be a vulture, but it just ends up looking like a dodo with wings. If you've been following this Cult of Crime plot, you can tell that there's been some infighting between Bruno Mannheim and Brother Abbott, who's one of the major devotees, and Abbott's just kind of realizing that Mannheim is making this up as he goes, which is why he's defected over to helping Nightwing and Renee figure this out because I didn't ask for any of this. I didn't sign up to make Gotham City a fire pit. I signed up for to kill and fuck and steal and not have to be accountable for it.
Crime stuff. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to do the crime.
Yeah.
I was not so much into the Bible.
Right. But if you can't take me at my Bible, you don't deserve me at my crime.
We should put that on a shirt.
Yeah, under a picture of like Marilyn Monroe.
Absolutely. I'm going to make that meme for you.
Thank you, Gita.
I do love this illustration of Renee Montoya kicking a little rat man in the chest.
I am obsessed with this panel, yes.
I love it. I do love it. Oh my God. And he's like 3 feet tall. He's little.
Just Nightwing and Renee beating the shit out of a bunch of Muppets on their Muppet Show episode.
Oh God, that would be so good.
Oh God.
I do see, as we transition from them beating up the animal people and figuring out what the conspiracy is, once you actually see these devices in action, you absolutely get the vibe that this is, again, a first swing at the many ideas that would come to coalesce into Final Crisis. It's just the color palette. The
colors are so good.
Oh my God. Orange, red, evil looking sky. The buildings are all rendered. This one panel especially, the buildings are all rendered in black, in silhouette. God, it looks so sinister.
The last time we had an issue of 52 this good looking was the one Lady Styx issue that was really interesting.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That is actually 100% true. The imagination in terms of what these things look like is supercharged. I love also the giant beams of light. They look like they are glowing from within. It's so lovely. And this is eventually what Earth looks like in the events of Final Crisis, is almost exactly like this. Everything's shrouded in shadow. The extreme high contrast between the darkness that is actually the evil that's represented by these beams of light. It looks so fucking great. It really does. I wish it was in service of a better storyline, but at least it looks cool as fuck. I love also the Gotham architecture here. There's so many details, so many little fiddly pieces.
Yeah, Derek is so good at drawing Gotham here. Yeah. The
it
little
looks good.
Gargoyles on the buildings, the eagles, the bats flying around.
I love that you can get a sense of when these buildings were built because they all have a consistent architectural style. It really feels like a real city. And we see a lot of different depictions of Gotham, even in this very comic. But outside of this, people can't really decide, is this a city of skyscrapers and glass? Is this an Art Deco city? Is this a neon lit city of crime and rain and neo-noir and stuff like that? But here I really do like this really high Victorian style that evokes ancient conspiracy really strongly. And I love that it allows Derek to play with light and shadow so much. There's so much texture, even when you go really deep into the frame where things have a lot less detail, you still get a sense of depth.
And there's just all this fire and destruction and end of the world imagery going on. And we see this narration throughout all of this that we haven't even touched on, where Renee is just speaking through her journal to Vic Sage, calling him Charlie over and over, and realizing where it's going and reusing all his Zen koans and putting into practice everything that he's told her and realizing it for herself, and only here when the world is seeming to end around her. And she realizes that she's going to need to put herself on the front line to fight for someone she loves alone. That is when she finally assumes her true self. And we get this incredible sequence where she asks herself, who am I? Who am I going to be? And Dick asks her, would you really die for this? And we get this beautiful splash page of her emerging from the smoke, question mark swirling above her, just in her final form. Wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And the whole thing reminds me of this thing I'm going to drop in chat, the climax of the very first arc of Dennis O'Neil and Dennis Cowan's The Question, where Vic apparently dies and comes back and takes his revenge on the corrupt reverend who's ruined his life in the city and has come to stand for the corruption. And the climactic image of the entire series is him standing in the fire of the burning wreckage as it erupts around him. And it just feels like Renee is coming to be in that same baptism of fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the first time we see her wearing the question mask, which is a lack of a face. And this was a moment in this comic. I remember the fan reaction to this page, especially. People had such high hopes for where this storyline would take off. And I think we're finally seeing that realized, but it's taken a long time, like a really, really long time.
Yeah.
But
48 to 52 is a long time.
Yeah, here, like, people really loved this turn of Renee becoming the question. This felt like a culmination of a lot of work going all the way back to Gotham Central to have Renee go through an intense emotional upheaval and become a hero, like the person that she was always really meant to be, but was limited in becoming because of the systems that she worked within. Charlie has shown her that she does not need these systems in order to do the right thing, and that actually not having a face, being faceless, often makes it easier for you to uncover the secrets of the world.
Exactly right.
It's fucking sick.
Just shout out to just the editing team, in particular Michael Siglain, for like knowing we gotta save Derek Robertson for this issue. This is the one that really has to pop. It still looks incredible.
The action scenes have all been great, but it's really his, like, it feels very pulpy, like the way that everything is a little bit sketchy, all the lines are a little bit wiggly and they're really thick and they're really dark. It feels like very much like a noir story in the way that it's illustrated, and it's just a pitch perfect match for the material.
Man. So Renee sends Dick and Abbott to deal with these fire pits while she goes to save Kate from this pulp-ass 1930s Hammer film of a scene.
Yeah, I mean, it is like Hammer horror, like, exactly. Like, with, especially, you can imagine, like, the actors in, like, rubber suits with masks.
Yes.
They're all animal people. It's
and that's
really
no
great.
criticism. I love it. It's great.
Yeah, it's the most I've liked the Religion of Crime, I have to say.
Yes. This is the one where it all works. I just, like, rubbing blood on her face. And Bruno Mannheim getting this ritual all together. The words are bullshit as usual, but that's not what it's about. We get this incredible action sequence in the sacrificial altar room with snake ladies and fire and the Kirby gun. God, it's so good.
And of course, at the end of the day, she does get her gal.
She gets her gal when Kate literally takes the ceremonial dagger out of her own chest and plunges it into Bruno Mannheim. Metal as fuck.
Yeah. You can see also, like, the surprise of Kate Kane was really ruined for readers, but if this had been a rollout as intended, like, overjoyed, I'm sure people would immediately have accepted her as Batgirl. It's unfortunate that a press release for diversity reasons led to her introduction being spoiled in some ways. Because this is like, this is like what the project of this comic to me is about. It's like you come from here and you're like, oh my God, I want to read way more about Kate Kane. I can't wait for there to be a comic about the question. And that is like one of the wonderful joys of comics, finding a character and then just reading everything they've been in.
You know, I have blamed Grant Morrison a lot, and Grant Morrison has been blamed a lot for the failure of Countdown to Final Crisis being a lack of communication, that they refused to share crucial details about the story with the rest of the team because they didn't want to give it away. But when you consider like what happened with stuff like Kate Kane, you can kind of understand where they're coming from. Like, I don't want to go through that again. I want to be able to tell my story on its own terms. Unfortunately, in 52 especially, but in comics as a whole, it's a collaborative medium. You can't keep it to yourself.
It really is like a once bitten, twice shy type moment where like they're so protective of like, they want to have control, like any creative wants to have control over how their work is received. The Kate Kane thing really did pull the rug out from under these people, and it fucking sucks. But that doesn't mean that you have to go all the way in the opposite direction and never tell anyone what you're doing ever. Working within the corporate machine does mean you have to make compromises. This is not work that you own. This is work for hire.
Right.
So you do have to acknowledge, like, okay, well, I had this great reveal for Kate Kane that's going to lead into a great series with J.G. Jones, but they want to have a fucking marketing announcement so they can get props from GLAAD. Like, okay. Like, it does suck. I'm not going to say it doesn't suck, but it's the nature of the machine that you work in. If you wanted this to be something you had complete control over, you have to go creator-owned. And I know that is, like, a difficult thing to say when, of course, everyone wants to write Batman.
Right.
You know? Everyone wants to write Superman.
But it's a different thing.
Yeah.
Like, when you're writing Batman, I'm coming to the idea that you're not writing for yourself. You're not even writing for your audience. You're writing for the perpetuation of this collaborative myth. You're writing for everyone else who has written it, who is writing it with you, and who will be writing it in the future.
It's like creating a new story of Johnny Appleseed, right? It's like you are just promoting and remembering folkloric interpretations of ideas that have come from the past. It is about adding to a massive tapestry of history, and you have to put your ego away in some ways. I was talking to Angelica Jade Bastien from Vulture about this a while ago.
Okay.
Part of why, like, Tom King's work on something especially like Wonder Woman has not hit, because it doesn't feel like it has much respect for that tapestry of history.
Right. Tom King's work often feels like it's Tom King telling a particular story and using characters that kind of fit from, like, an abstract level to just, like, peg them into the holes of that story. But, like, it's this kind of symbiotic relationship where if it was an original story, it would be hard to get people to pay attention. But because he's using these iconic characters, the iconic characters don't seem to fit what's going on. And that's how you end up having a comic that's an adaptation of True Grit, but for some reason Supergirl is the protagonist.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, it's, like, not bad. Like, people like that, the way that he has written Supergirl. It's a kind of adventure you can imagine her being on, but it doesn't do the same thing that 52 is doing, which is clawing all the way back into history, continuing stories that were in progress,
right,
and rewarding readers for caring about these characters. And, like, it's a giant love letter to everything that's come before, as opposed to immediately wiping everything clean, making a clean slate.
I think what makes 52 special is that it is about what stories in these, like, creator-owned universes can aspire to the most. 52 isn't, like, high literature. It's not Watchmen. It's not From Hell. But I think it is the best you can get in the idea of an ongoing story that spans generations of character development.
Yeah, I think that's totally right. I think if someone were to ask me why I pick up floppies, I would tell them about reading 52 weekly.
Yeah.
Right? You know, it's the same kind of pleasure you get from following, like, a big water cooler show. I remember when Succession was on the air. I love Succession. I think it's, like, I do think it's high art. But it is, like, to me, the joy of watching it with other people elevated that experience, and being able just to talk about how crazy the characters are, and, like, how your predictions for who's going to come up on top, even though it doesn't really matter, or, like, how they're all going to be hoisted by their own petard by the end of the season. It is so much fun to just be a part of a story in progress and being able to see it week by week, month by month.
Roman, you fuck. Get me a McChicken from the value menu for $1.
That's pretty good. I'm not wearing my Kendall Roy shirt today.
Yeah.
I was wearing it 2 days ago.
Oh, boy. And I think just as an extra special treat, just for me, we finish off this storyline with, oh my God.
It's so good. This one page is just so delightful. You can just imagine Grant just cackling to themselves while they type it.
This is my favorite line that Grant Morrison has ever written in their entire career. Where we cut to Oolong Island and we see just like an absolutely overjoyed Dr. Savannah wiping blood off his hands and cackling with glee. I finally found a way to dissolve the enamel on the black model's teeth. I'm like a kid in a candy store, Tom.
It's so good.
And it just feels like in this moment, I realized like, oh, I get it. Grant Morrison is writing Dr. Savannah as Professor Farnsworth from Futurama.
It's so true. It's so
Good
true.
news, everyone.
That's exactly
I've dissolved the enamel on the Black Marvel's teeth.
It's perfect, though. Like, it's perfect. Like, this is, again, a love letter to the vast, long history of DC Comics. And also, like, a love letter to, like, silliness and goofiness and pulpiness. Like, people talk about comics and they don't respect them very much. I know that to be true. Although it is cool that apparently the Superman movie has led people to actually going to their comic book stores and asking for Superman comics.
I have recommended so many Superman comics this past month, and I'm still not sick of it.
Me neither. I'm not sick of it at all.
What are like the top 5 Superman comics you recommend?
Also, Superman is the number one I recommend because I think especially if you're a non-comics reader, it'll appeal to your literary desires. And I also know that Superman for All Seasons is one of the ones that the movie was based off of. So I think that it's like appropriate to go, like that's an appropriate like companion to it. I do say what's so funny about Truth, Justice, and the American Way, because that one, it rebuts the common idea that has been put into people's minds about superheroes by the Zack Snyder movies that heroes, like power will always corrupt. And like you have to have this rebuttal to that idea where it's like, no, but the fantasy of Superman is what if there was a guy who couldn't be corrupted by power? And like that, you have to really understand that to understand why people love that idealism so much. I also tell people to check out the current run where Lois Lane has powers because it rips.
That's one of my 5 too.
It's just really good. And if you like Lois from the movie, you will like her in this comic. Like,
absolutely.
She's fucking great.
It's so great. There's this whole story. The whole thing is about how Lois Lane is the editor-in-chief of the Daily Planet, and it fucking infuriates her.
She hates it because she's a reporter. She's not a manager. She doesn't want to do that. It sounds like a shitty job.
Right.
Ah, God, it's so accurate. And then the 5th one, I've honestly also been telling people to watch the cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The
which one?
Superman the animated series.
Because My Adventures with Superman would also be valid. I
mean, either one of those, but I tell more people have seen My Adventures with Superman recently than have gone back to the adventures of the animated Adventures of Superman.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good. We watched the Mixie Spitlick episode right after the movie, me and David, and it's just so great.
McGurk! It's it's so fantastic.
Clark is such a little bitch in the animated series. He's so funny.
The writing is so sharp. My top 5, also that Williamson Superman run. I think it's great that we have a great ongoing Superman book right now.
Yeah.
I tell everybody to read Superman Smashes the Klan.
Yes, my husband loves that one. He loves it. He also loves
so good.
Superman versus Muhammad Ali. That's one
another
of his
great
favorites.
one. Yeah. Where Muhammad Ali teaches Superman a box. It's like a legitimately great comic.
Yeah.
That's not one of my 5 though. My other 3 are Superman Adventures, which is the comic book tie-in to Superman the Animated Series. It has a year-long arc that was written by Scott fucking McCloud, the understanding comics guy.
What the fuck?
And he's just like, I want to write Superman for a year. And he kills it. It's so good. Maybe the best Lois Lane story of all time is in that.
I mean, the animated series Lois, that's why I recommend that one
Dana
also.
Delaney is incredible in that.
So great. The voice acting is amazing. And that's where the nickname of calling him Smallville came from, apparently. It originated.
Yes, that's where it comes from.
And like that's like one of the best Lois Lane character traits is like constantly picking at him for being from a small town. That's like establishing her as sort of like a wisecracking city broad, you know? I love it.
And the other one I like to recommend is I think it's really important to go back to the first 12 issues of Action Comics from 1938. I won't recommend this for literally any other hero, but like the original Jerry Siegel Golden Age Superman comics hold way the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's because it's about fighting really relatable villains and fears. It's like, your landlord's trying to evict you. Pow, he's dead.
The context you have to imagine for the original Superman comics is that Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster developed this character for a medium that did not yet exist. There was no such thing as comic books when they were working on Superman. So the idea was to develop him as a newspaper strip. So Superman deals with like the social issues of the day because this was supposed to run in newspapers.
Yeah, alongside stories about the all the things you can't defeat by punching. Here is an image of a guy punching your landlord into not evicting you, punching your abusive dad. Like it is a rejoinder to the news itself. Like imagine a better world.
On the reverse side of a news story about like some conglomerate abusing its workers, Superman is beating up CEOs to stand up for workers' rights. That was the vision of Superman.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it holds up better than like basically any other Golden Age strip. From that, we go on to our backup, The Origin of the Birds of Prey.
We sure do.
Art here by Nicholas Scott, who's currently working on Cheetah and Cheshire Rob the Justice League with friend of the show, Greg Rucka, doing some of her best work right now. But these characters just look great here. I love how Nicholas Scott draws a face.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the end of it here is illustrations of the Birds of Prey. So Huntress, Big Barda, Black Canary. How long was she wearing that costume with the weird yellow hat?
Oh, that's not Black Canary. That's
Black Canary?
Lady Blackhawk.
Lady Blackhawk. Okay, that's why she looks a time displays pilot and markswoman. That's why she be looking like that. And then Manhunter, who just has this cute little smirk. She's all the way in the back, but even she gets detail. I love how all of these women have different faces. You wouldn't believe how hard that is to find in many comics.
I keep thinking about how Nicholas Scott is the antithesis of same face syndrome.
Absolutely.
Every woman she draws looks different and consistent, which is a goddamn miracle in comics. It's a
godsend. I was reading, it's a preview for when we get to the What Are We Reading Right Now segment, but I was reading a Marvel book that was illustrated by Jim Chung, and he's a great illustrator, but same face. Every character has the same fucking face.
I mean, I think you could make a very strong argument that the reason superhero costumes exist is that in the early days of newsprint comics, it's very hard to make a character's face out. So you need to make like a garish costume to understand, to like parse who the character is, in the same way that like Mario has overalls and a mustache.
Yeah, it explains why everybody's got domino masks, right? If you can just do a big black thing around the eyes, number one, don't have to draw eyes. Just don't have to draw them. And number two, that character is always identifiable in every single panel immediately. Yeah.
Just Nicholas Scott doing incredible work here. Love how Mark Waid tells this condensed origin of Oracle. For more on that, I would highly recommend everybody read Oracle Year One by Kim Yale in the Batman Chronicles #5. I think that's essential reading for anybody who wants to know why this character is so important and like what is so cool about this story they salvaged from The Killing Joke, whether you believe it was a mistake or not, to make Barbara Gordon a victim. What they do with that story is so much cooler than what happened. And I think she's better for it.
We've talked at length about why Barbara Gordon's character development after after The Killing Joke turned her into such an essential character.
Yeah.
And why it's so frustrating when people get their hands on Barbara Gordon and then fix her back. Like, it's just, even I believe strongly that if Barbara Gordon was no longer disabled, she would still be Oracle. Like, that is what many of these stories show us, is that she learns about herself by having to relearn how to be involved in something that really matters to her after she becomes disabled. And also, just other than that, like, people get disabled every day. Every day. Like, real people in the world get shot in the spine and then lose feeling in the lower half of their body. It happens. So seeing a character not even, like, be slowed down but not stopped at all by their disability, to me, one of the many definitions of heroism. It is really, I hate inspiration porn, but I feel like this is just a realistic depiction of someone not giving up.
Right. Shout out just to this tiny, adorable illustration of Lady Shiva up in the corner of page 2. One of my personal faves, just being yelled at by Black Canary.
It is really funny. She's got her hands over her ears. It's so cute.
This might be the cutest picture I have ever seen of the world's deadliest assassin. I'm obsessed.
No, it's like a chibi.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I love it. I also do love Power Girl's face here.
Mhm.
I love that she's giving cheesecake, even though it's not overly sexualized. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, she's still somehow doing a model pose, but she's like really worried. It's really cute.
Big Barda looks amazing
She looks
here.
amazing.
God, my eye is just drawn to her every time on this page.
It's that disdainful look she's giving, and also this like long aquiline nose, where you feel how big she is because she's casting her gaze downward at you. It's
no secret I'm a fan of big-nosed ladies in comics. One of the top Nico Robin fans over here.
Yep.
Love Pearl from Steven Universe.
Oh, yeah.
Just give a lady a big nose and I'm obsessed.
God, I love Big Barda for many reasons, and I just love when she shows up. Like, people are really bad at using the fourth world characters. So whenever I see one, I'm just like, fourth world mentioned.
Yeah.
You know?
Speaking of which, Big Barda's doing amazing in the Kelly Thompson Birds of Prey run right now.
Hell yeah.
She's got this whole Colossus Wolverine dynamic going on with Cassandra Cain, which is just absolutely precious.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Cassandra. I love her.
Yeah, they've become best friends in this book, and they're inseparable.
Oh my God. Wait. No.
Because, Barda and Cass are both like people who grew up in these environments where they were trained to be the ultimate weapon and escape to learn about love, and they just recognize each other as sisters.
If there's any DC movie that I really would love to do, it's just Mr. Miracle and Big Barda escaping from apocalypse.
That's what Ava DuVernay wanted to do.
Yeah.
That was her big pitch.
Didn't
work out because they're like, we just used Darkseid in Zack Snyder's Justice League. So we burned that.
God, it's really fucking stupid because if you just don't set it on Earth, don't let anyone see Earth. Earth shows up at the end of the film where it's where they escape to. It's their heaven, essentially. You have to just use the sort of Shakespearean operatic tone of those original comics. That's what makes those comics so good, is that everybody talks like they're in a Shakespeare play, but they're called Darkseid and shit, Right. Like, it's great.
Yeah, they live in the Armageddon.
It's so funny every single time.
Have you read Barda yet by Ngozi Ukazu?
No, I haven't read that one.
It's so good.
Love her.
I think it's the most accessible the New Gods mythology has ever been. Like, she really gets what makes it cool in a way that, like, you can actually understand.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited for her Orion follow-up. I think Orion has consistently been one of the most underrated New Gods, and I'm really excited to see her explore him.
I am also enjoying Ram V's New Gods book, which is just fantastic.
Ram V's New Gods book is drawn to the nines. It is hard to parse.
Yeah.
But if you put in the work, you are rewarded.
Yeah, it is kind of like a job, but it is really good.
What's your favorite scene in this issue?
Oh my God, I think it's kicking the little rat man. I'm not going to lie to you.
Kicking the little rat man.
There's other scenes that are harder hitting, that are more dramatic, that are more meaningful to me. But when I think about, like, I want a tattoo of that little rat man. Like, he's so cute. I love how just like something somebody drew can end up just sticking in your mind. That's probably just filler art. That are like, Derek, just draw more animal people. They're beating him up. Do whatever.
The kind of thing where if you look at it, it's like, I don't remember drawing that.
Yeah, exactly. But it's so special. Why is there a 4 foot tall rat man there?
I love it.
They had to know he wasn't up to the job.
They have snakes and crocodile men. They're like, we're running out of guys. Send out the rat.
One of their guys breathes fire. What is this rat man gonna do?
Put me in, coach. I'm ready. No, you're not ready, Rat Man. Come on, I can do it. I can make something of myself.
Exactly.
This is Rat Man's time to shine.
Bam! Immediately kicked in the chest. All ribs broken.
Never see him again.
Oh, poor little rat guy.
Falls in a fire pit and dies. I think the most important scene to me is the emergence of Renee Montoya. But I gotta say, I've zapped the enamel off Black Adam's teeth has lived in my head for 19 years.
It's so good. It's such a funny line, and I knew that was going to be your favorite line when I read this issue.
Yeah.
it's mad scientist shit. It is like,
Yeah.
why be an insane genius and not do this is like what the thesis of Oolong Island is. Like, if you have mental health issues and you are also a scientific genius, you might as well be torturing Black Adam.
Yeah. Do something constructive with your psychosis. Make it work for you.
Yeah.
What do you want to put on the blackboard?
What the fuck was the Crime Bible doing? Like, why does Mannheim need to turn Gotham into hell on earth? The only explanation we get in the comic is, well, because Mannheim thinks you have to do everything in the Crime Bible. That's a tautology. That doesn't explain what's going to happen.
I think, especially when you consider the Morrison angle, you have to consider where Bruno Mannheim originally comes from, and that is Jack Kirby's New God saga, where Bruno Mannheim was the representative of Intergang, which was the alien weapons division of just distributing super crime stuff across Earth on behalf of Darkseid, kind of staging the ground for an eventual Darkseid invasion to harvest the anti-life equation. And when we see Mannheim setting up these fire pits here, like the fire pits which define the landscape of Apocalypse, it's, I think, without spelling it out for you, saying this whole Crime Bible thing was a way of transforming Earth for Darkseid to be here. And we see that with the Horsemen of Apocalypse, spelled the K-way. And without ever telling us what it's really about, we know that deep, deep in the background, Darkseid is.
Darkseid is. He just always is. Man, the lead up to Final Crisis was so fucking sick with all the Darkseid stuff they were doing.
It was Morrison building it up since JLA, yeah.
It was my profile picture of the Darkseid with the Anti-Life Omega on his fist for many, many months in college. It was just the gravity and the operatic nature of that the way that Darkseid represents fascism for me is so interesting. The idea that Darkseid is just a complete sentence. He is, he was, he will be. There is no escape. He is, to be alive is to be submitting to Darkseid. Beautiful.
I'm thinking about what I used as my profile picture around that time. And I think it was, hang on, here it is. This cover that Stanley Art Germ Lau did during his run on Stephanie Brown's Batgirl. That was just this was, I was just kind of obsessed with this picture and used it everywhere of her just kind of wiping the blood from her cheek. It was oh, this is the coolest thing anyone has ever drawn.
Hell yeah. God, okay.
Yeah, I was obsessed with Stephanie Brown for a little bit.
Stephanie Brown's good. Listen.
Stephanie Brown is good.
It happens to the best of us. Stephanie Brown rocks.
Yeah.
What are you putting on the blackboard?
Okay, I have something to put on the blackboard that I'm insanely proud of. I've spoken in the past about mysteries about the question that I think I have solved that no one else ever has. And this recently is one of them, I think. I was noticing in this read through a lot of parallels. I brought it up in the past. I brought up earlier this episode with the question number 4, where there's this villain in the first 4 issues of the question named Reverend Jeremiah Hatch, who is secretly controlling the alcoholic mayor and just pulling the strings of the city to serve his own agenda, which is this kind of apocalypse reverse Christianity of his own kind. And it all culminates in him trying to make a sacrifice out of Vic Sage's love interest's daughter, while the church burns around him. And there's a lot of similar iconography to that rescue from a burning religious sanctum with this issue in particular, and in the opening issue of the Crime Bible miniseries that Greg Rucka followed up 52 with, which we may talk about at some point. And and it occurred to me years ago that the origins of this whole Crime Bible story that Greg Rucka was writing, knowing that Greg Rucka was a huge fan of Denny O'Neil, worked with Denny on the Cry for Blood miniseries. What if the origins of this whole Crime Bible were meant to be connected to the first villain that Dennis O'Neil created for the question? And I asked Greg Rucka about it, and he was that I didn't make that clear in the script, but I definitely wanted people to draw that connection. And I felt really proud of myself that yeah, I solved it. I found the secret origin of the Crime Bible. So here it is. You can find the traces of this weird cult in the first 4 issues of the Question.
That fucking rules, dude.
Right?
What the fuck? Jesus Christ. I love comic books.
I love comic books! Sorry, Esper. Esper loves it when you shout in the mic.
Oh
When
my
you shout,
God.
it's her favorite thing in the world.
Oh man, especially with
That and
no
clapping.
warning. Oh, clapping?
Yeah. Let's give it up.
Let's give it up for Esper, everybody. We love Esper. I'm sorry, Esper. I am actually
She's gonna
sorry.
be so mad at me.
It wasn't my idea. You heard all
No.
this.
It's oh, she works so hard.
Oh, shout out as always to our lovely Esper.
Subscribe to Aftermath.site so they can keep paying us to talk about comics and for Esper to edit them. Please. Thank
Yes,
you.
wonderful.
Join the ranks of Greg, who is also a recent
A
subscriber
good
to
friend
Aftermath
Greg
for some
Rucka,
reason.
Aftermath
Yeah.
subscriber. We love
Good enough
that.
for him. Why not you? I gotta ask, Gita, what other comics besides 52 have you been reading lately?
So I've actually been going through, this is all research for me probably writing a retrospective on the MCU cinematic project up until now. And I have been looking at and thinking about, there's a concept art for the new MCU movies have come out. It's pretty clear that they're going to be following the Jonathan Hickman Avengers and New Avengers run that led to a sort of soft reboot of the Marvel Universe and Marvel continuity. It was essentially the end result of all of this comic book shenanigans was so that they could get Miles Morales into the main Marvel Universe.
Right.
It's like really funny. That's the only thing that changes at the end of all of this is like, and now we got Miles, everybody. Like,
Kind of what I'm hoping DC does with Absolute Wonder Woman at some point.
yeah. It's just really funny.
Yeah.
And it's clear that I think Feige has already said, yeah, they want to recast some classic characters like Iron Man. They want to have a soft relaunch of the MCU because they've sort of written themselves into this corner where it's kind of hard to go anywhere from where they are. And none of the new storylines that they've been trying to make happen have been working. So I have been reading I'm almost all the way through the Jonathan Hickman run on Avengers and New Avengers, and that will lead into Secret Wars, which is the name of one of the upcoming Marvel films.
Not the first Secret Wars, but the second Secret Wars.
Exactly. It is a really ambitious crossover that basically all but it's easier to count the comic book series that were not involved in Battle World and the Secret Wars crossover than it is to count the ones that were involved. It's like under 10 that are not involved in it. And it is also an equally impressive feat of storytelling that they let Hickman build up to this for several years, including from his Fantastic Four run. Like, there's a lot of things that were set up in his Fantastic Four run that he's finally resolving now in the Avengers and New Avengers run. My favorite detail so far of just the things that are going on is the apocalypse stuff is happening, et cetera, multiverse dying, et cetera. To deal with this, Iron Man decides that he's got to reform the Illuminati, something he did like many years ago and that everyone got mad at him for doing.
That was the one that sent the Hulk to space, right?
They sent the Hulk to space, and like that was not a good idea. And it also set the stage for Secret Invasion, which is the Skrull attempting a silent takeover of Earth. And it's like 100% Tony's fault. So when people find out that he did it again, they're so fucking mad at him. They're just like, Tony, are you serious? You started the Illuminati again with the same people? What's wrong with you?
And
go
he
ahead.
goes, I have a drinking problem. We've been over this.
It's like, if I don't do something, I'm going to start drinking again. Yeah, it is incredibly hilarious, and I do really love that note. But one thing I do think is interesting here is that these heroes are all up against an enemy that they can't defeat. They are told again and again and again, there is no stopping the end of the multiverse. It is just, you have to figure out how to not lose. You will never win. And it's a cynical and sort of nihilistic story, but you do come around on the other side where it's just like, everyone tries so hard, even though they know that they will fail. And it's that level of sacrifice and selflessness that is the thing that makes them heroes.
Gee.
You have to just try, even if it won't work. You just have to.
All of this sounds really familiar. Oh yeah, Marv Wolfman did this beat for beat in Crisis on Infinite Earths in 1985, Gita.
Yep. You know, it's all the same story at the end of the day. But it is to see like another swing at these same themes, right? It's like what makes a hero? Trying even though you will fail. Mm-hmm. Trying to save people even in the face of the apocalypse. And it is really, really, it is heartbreaking to read because you're watching these super geniuses. There's like an unusual amount of super geniuses in Marvel Comics, I have to say.
Yeah.
Like a lot of characters are just like, his power is that he's a super genius. Whatever. Sorry.
I mean, we got an island of them here.
That's true, but it doesn't. Actually, I think they'd get along super well with the Illuminati. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah.
Oolong Island and the Illuminati would be having a great fucking time. If you put Reed Richards on that island, it would be indistinguishable. Like, he's basically
Iron Man would
there.
look at T.O. Morrow like, this guy's my fucking dog.
Absolutely.
This is my ride or die.
They would be having a lot of fun.
We are going to get fucked up.
Oh, my God. And you got babes? Like,
yeah. Possibly cyborg babes.
She's like, well, if they're cyborg babes, I can remote control all of my suits, so they'll have plenty of fun.
Just sticking a vibrator in a fleshlight.
Basically, yeah.
Oh boy.
God, I love that. I love that. No, it is really, really, really well done. It's a really well done modern take on these very old comic booky ideas. Mm-hmm. It is really impressive the way that he plots these through several different books that are occurring simultaneously. It does make it a pain in the ass to read digitally. But it is also strangely heartwarming just to think about all of the different ways in which these characters are willing to sacrifice themselves. And then also it leads to, and I'm really excited for this, the final conclusion of the original Ultimate universe that Bendis originated with Ultimate Spider-Man. And it is a lot of artists just saying farewell to things they made and saying how much they loved them and saying, okay, it's a new era now. And being able to do it with grace. That is so rare in comics, right? To be able to really say goodbye.
Yeah, that's what really burned me about the New 52, that it happened so fast that no one really had time to say goodbye to any of these stories before they had to put them away.
Yeah, it is rough doing work for hire. You don't know what's going to happen for it. A lot of the stuff that I've written is owned by two corporations that I hate with a fiery passion now.
Yeah.
It sucks. I don't own that work, but I knew that when I signed up for it.
One of them is Aftermath.
No, I love Aftermath. And I own all that personally. So, but it is heartwarming. It is like the ideal good ending for being able to finish something. And it's even more heartbreaking when you think about how Hickman was taken off of his X-Men books because they didn't want him to do the same thing. This was a several years long process, a several years long story. And I'm sure they were just like, that took a long time, dude. Like, we can't go through this again.
Great haul. Sorry, I don't have much to add. I don't read Marvel. Not because I hate it, because I don't have the time.
Yeah, you're already reading so many DC comics, you just don't have time for Marvel.
I'm literally reading every current DC book.
Oh my fucking God, to the point that
I can't
dude.
even talk about those. I want to talk about what I'm not reading in the current lineup. I've been going back and reading a lot of like 90s cheesecakey Jim Balent Catwoman.
Hell yeah.
I gotta say, those comics are super fun. I think like pound for pound, Catwoman might be more fun than any other Batman series on average, because all of them are about like, how do we do like a super fun heist, as opposed to like most superhero comics being like, how do we figure out how to beat this bad guy? The nature of it is a different set of problems, and that always makes it stand out against the rest of the line. Just hell yeah, Catwoman. There should be a Catwoman book going on at all times.
I gotta say, I also really love this era of the costume for her. I love the purple. Purple is my favorite color. I also love, she's got those wild thigh-high boots, but they don't have a heel.
No.
And like so rare for like a cheesecakey book like this. And all these wonderful covers with the dynamism of the whip going everywhere. She doesn't get to use her whip as much anymore.
It's so fun with the whip shit in this book. Man, it's just every issue is a delight. And yeah, it's cheesecakey and male-gazy as hell, but it's also a lot of fun. I've been just absolutely housing down after years of putting it off, volume after volume in a row of James Tynan's Something is Killing the Children. People have been telling me to read this for years. I just read almost all of it in one go. The only reason I stopped is because Hoopla downsized their 8 books a month allowance to 5 books a month, which really pissed me off.
Yeah.
But I'll be reading the rest of it next month.
Yeah, Something is Killing the Children was the book that got me into James Tynan. And I'm really glad because he's a very talented horror writer. Like, he really, really is.
Yeah. I've read a lot of James Tynan. Something is Killing the Children really feels like the missing link between what he was doing on The Woods and what he's doing now with The Nice House on the Lake. Where you can see like one era transforming into the other. It's a liminal space book, but it's done extremely well. I'd recommend it to pretty much anybody who has ever liked like a Buffy style thing. Just done very artfully. It's just really cool following this girl around slaying monsters.
Yeah, especially if the thing you liked about Buffy is the way that her powers make her an outcast.
Yes.
That is like one of the strongest aspects of this main character. I was reading it when it was coming out, and I stopped reading it because I wanted the treat of being able to read it all in one go.
Oh, I got that.
And you just reminded me that I have to do that soon because
ooh, buddy, there's
a great
8
book.
volumes out. And number 9 is currently in progress. So the book is alive, and I'm hyped for it.
Yeah.
Buddy.
I read a lot of the most recent James Tynan stuff. World Tree I really like because it's like one of the few anti-tech books that is willing to like get into the Peter Thiel of it all, in that like this major tech guy that is willing to sell out the world is a gay man. Is a gay man that has a relationship with the people that are one of the men that are trying to stop him. I really appreciate James Tynan's dedication to making his books as gay as possible.
Yeah.
Especially, we've talked about this before, but like the queer friend group interpersonal drama aspect of Nice House on the Lake is one of the best parts of the book.
It is so funny to me that James Tynan's favorite DC character is Tim Drake. And he was not allowed to like do anything with Tim Drake during his entire run. And then the moment he leaves, Megan Fitzmartin comes out and just like canonizes him as bisexual.
Yep.
I cannot imagine how much James must be seething that he didn't get his hand on that ball.
I could have made him gay.
It was possible. Yeah.
Yeah. God, James Tynan, if you're listening to this podcast, we're big fans. Seriously,
we'll have him on the
books
show.
are great. Yeah, we'd absolutely love to have you on the show. Yeah, we'll do it.
I'll reach out to him. I think we're overdue.
I think so.
With that, there's one thing left to do, and that is a formal apology on my behalf. It has come to my attention that in the last episode that we recorded, a 52 pickup, I was having some trouble sleeping. I wasn't very aware of what was going on. I said some things that I'm a little embarrassed about. And one of them was apparently, and I've only heard this secondhand, this lengthy tirade about Batman coming in a cave. And for that, I am deeply sorry.
You did say that. You did. It did happen. I'm sorry. You did say that. And I was like, do I stop him or do I just let it go? We're almost done recording. Let's just let it go.
I'm sorry I talked about how Batman came and the face that he makes after he comes, and how the only thing Batman needed to do to get his soul right after a year was come in a cave. I just need to apologize to our listeners.
Funnier the second time. I'm sorry. I am also sorry for laughing and for not stopping Alex Jaffe from saying this.
Just, I want to beseech you all not to think about Batman coming. It's not something that is within the auspices of what DC Comics wants. It's not the intention of the character. I mean, please don't think about the face that Batman makes after he comes.
These characters don't have sex, is what I think Grant Morrison was told. And then they were like, no wonder he dresses up like a bat to fight crime.
It's actually a Neil Gaiman story, Gita. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, sorry. I'm sorry for mentioning the cursed man. I don't want to think about him ever. But it is, don't think about Batman coming.
Don't think about it.
Don't think about it.
Don't think about it.
Don't. I'm telling you right now, don't do it.
Don't think about how when it happens, Biff, Bam, and Pow appear on the screen in like
Don't think about
colorful
how he
jagged
starts
balloons.
crying immediately after.
Yeah.
Don't think about
Don't
that.
think about how he shouts a muffled Martha into the pillow. That's not something he does. That's not something anyone has ever written. That's not something a sane person would think.
No, you can't definitely find fan fiction about this very event right now on AO3. I haven't even checked, but I know it's there. I know you'll never find it.
Yeah.
And if you write this fanfic, definitely don't send it to us.
We cannot read it. We just can't do it. Maybe Gita can, but I can't do it. I won't do it.
You're legally
I've never read
not
a fan fiction in my life, and I never will.
Well, now that you've got that off your chest, I actually have another question for you.
Yeah.
God, I forget. It's like right on the tip of my tongue. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Like
I'm
just
spent
about
after
to
that.
say it.
It's okay
spent.
if we hold it for next week.
No. I'm gonna remember.
Are you sure?
Remember. Yeah, just give me a sec. Just give me a sec.
Because we do one of these like every couple weeks. It can keep until next time.
No. This one's like it's topical for this week. It's burning. Just give me like
we have to do it this week.
Second.
Just keep in mind that these release like we have a little bit of a backlog, so it's not going to come out that week. So these aren't time locked anyway.
No, but it is like if I don't ask it now, I won't remember it next week. That's the thing.
Right.
Like okay,
like as it says in the Bible, if not now, when? That was King Solomon.
That was King Solomon. You know what stupid, like, Jewish thing I get stuck in my head sometimes?
What?
I'll just be walking around and in my head I'll go, from Moses to Moses, there's no one like Moses.
Yeah! From Moses to Moses supposes his roses, as Moses supposes his toes is to be.
I'm crying, dude.
Gita, are you ready?
52 Pickup is an Aftermath production created by Gita Jackson and Alex Jaffe and edited by Esper Quim with original music by John Aaron. Hosting for 52 Pickup is provided by Insert Credit. The views and opinions expressed on this show are solely those of the show's personalities and do not reflect those of DC Entertainment or Warner Brothers. Please rate and review our show wherever you can and send your questions and comments to 52mailbag@gmail.com. Never stop reading comics.